Hi, the left and right fronts are now finished. When I looked at them after they were assembled together, I decided I didn't like all this plain block of colour up here. So I applied a stencil over that area, mixed up some dark brown paint and put the print over there. And then, in a method that I quite often do, I've stitched around the parts, the sections of the print. This is just a running stitch, not any kind of fancy embroidery at all. So I'll just talk about that for in a moment, about the running stitch, but before I get there I'm just going to explain that I'm going to do a bit more stitching and embellishment on this front. I've got some scraps, of course, from my offcuts there, and before I've finished the front, I'm going to be stitching some more of this on with the running stitch. Okay, so let's just talk about the running stitch that I do in combination with the stencil, and I'll just zoom in a bit closer there. Hi, I'm back to talk briefly about the running stitch. This thread I'm using is actually a soft cotton crochet thread. This is not a kind of thread that I normally use. I'm only using it at this time because this fabric that I'm stitching into here is very open weave. Normally I find using a crochet thread like this, it will quickly shred when it's being pulled through tight weave fabric, so I wouldn't recommend, unless you're using, as I am here now, a very open weave fabric. Now I've come to prefer these quilt basting needles for my running stitching. They're a size 7 quilt basting needle. They're easily found, quite inexpensive. I like them because they're long, they're very thin, and they also have a big eye. The kind of thread I'd normally use for my running stitch embellishment are actually DMC stranded threads, which come in a huge range of colours, and there are also 6 stranded threads. You can use all 6 threads if you want a really thick stitch, or the way I more often do it is to take off 3 threads. Okay, so all I'm doing here is essentially working around the pattern here, doing this stitch, running stitch, not any sort of fancy embroidery at all. So I'm utilizing the length of this long needle to take several stitches at once, in and out, in and out, and I'm using my other hand to guide the fabric as well as pushing the needle in and out at the same time. So there I've got about 4 stitches, and then I'm going to turn around this shape here, pull the thread through. So there we go, in and out. Very straightforward running stitch. It's quite quick to do when you're doing these several stitches at once. And down this way. There. So There you go.